So I'm from Athens, Ohio. It's the poorest county in Ohio, but has a college sitting in the middle of it. And when I go home, you know, that district, that region all went red for voting for Trump. And so when I went home, you know, I'm a public health guy, right? So I come from the left. And so I just avoided politics when I went home. And this time I decided when I went home, it was in the throes of the latest fight over healthcare, to get past the politics, just say, what do you think? Do you think you and your family deserve a right to healthcare? And the really interesting thing to me was the number of friends, the vast majority, by far, like it was only a tiny number, who thought we do not have a right to healthcare. I mean, this included 3 people I knew, and then, you know, as I started asking around, I asked my friends to introduce me to some of their friends, and so the ring got wider, and 3 of the people I ended up talking to were bankrupted or near bankrupted by healthcare costs. And they said they did not think that it should be a right. And as I probed it and came to understand it, I realized that there is a core dilemma at the bottom of this, because they do not think that when they hear the story of we're going to make healthcare right, they hear it as a demand on them. They are the average taxpayer, and I think we don't understand that. The average taxpayer does not have a college education. Only 30% of the country has a college education. So the average taxpayer, like my friends back home, have a high school education. They are, the per capita income of the median taxpayer is $33,000. So, you know, one example of this person is Mana French, who graduated the same year as me from high school, and now is our school librarian, which is classified as a clerical job. And so she has a bachelor's education. She's an incredible volunteer in the community. She raises money for the volunteer firefighters, everything else. 22 years on the job, she now earns $16.50 an hour. She has a health plan now that has a $3,000 deductible. And she doesn't have $3,000 in the bank. Many of you know the statistics that, you know, it's only 40% that have $500 or more in the bank in accessible cash. So, you know, another person I interviewed was $6,000, and they'd been bankrupted by healthcare costs while carrying insurance that they consider pretty good insurance. So what Mana sees, and what the other people I talked to see, is they are paying she pays half of her income in taxes and in healthcare premiums, are going bankrupt because of healthcare costs, and their taxes are going to pay for people in the neighborhood who do not get the deal that they get. Those people in the neighborhood, they're not working, and they get Medicaid, which is better coverage than they could ever dream of, than they could ever pay for. No copays, no premiums, no deductibles. And so what they say is, you know, you liberals, you don't care about my life. You don't think my life is actually of equal worth. You talk about the idea that people's lives are of equal worth, but their lives are not of equal worth. So you say you want a right to health care. Well, who else am I going to end up paying for? I just know I'm going to get screwed in the end. And that was where the discussion started. But I did think there could be a bridge that came out of it, out of the course of all of those discussions.